All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about one of the most significant shifts happening in the tech world, the DevOps transformation. And I want to be clear, we're not treating this as just another buzzword. We're looking at it as a deep, fundamental journey of change that really reshapes an entire organization.
So let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to really honestly think about it. How long does it take, right now, for your organization to get a single, one-line code change out into production? Is it a few minutes, a few hours, or are we talking days, maybe even weeks? The answer to that one simple question says so much about your company's agility.
You know that measurement we were just talking about? It has a name. It's called cycle time. And you can think of it as the ultimate speed limit for your organization. Every single manual step, every handoff, every delay, it all adds up and puts the brakes on your velocity. The entire point of a DevOps transformation is to crush this number and make it as short as possible.
So what is it we're actually trying to do here? Well, this quote from Donovan Brown is probably one of the best definitions you'll ever find. And you got to pay attention to that last word, value. The goal isn't just about shipping code faster for the sake of it. It's about continuously delivering real, tangible value to the people who are actually using your stuff.
And that brings us perfectly to the big why, right? Why would you even go on this journey? It can be tough. Well, it all comes back to that one goal we just mentioned, shortening your cycle time, because that's how you accelerate the delivery of value.
And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good thing. We're talking about real, measurable business outcomes here. When you get this right, you see deployments happen way more often, which means your new features get into your customers' hands faster. You see a lower failure rate when you do make changes. And when things inevitably do break, you can recover so much faster. All of that has a direct impact on the bottom line.
But here's the thing. Speed is only half the picture. When you shorten that cycle time, you're not just deploying faster, you are learning faster. See, every single deployment becomes a little experiment. It's a chance to get real, hard data from your users. This is what we call validated learning. It's about moving from, we think this is a good idea, to, we know this is a good idea, because the data proves it.
Okay, so if the why is clear, the next logical question is what? What actually has to change to make all this happen? And the answer might surprise you, because the biggest challenges, they're not technical. They're all about your culture and your organizational structure.
This really lays out the mindset shift you have to make. You're moving away from that old-school top-down hierarchy where you have to ask for permission for everything. Instead, you're building a network of empowered teams. The focus changes from just following the process to actually getting the result. And you move from a culture that's terrified of risk to one that actually encourages smart experiments.
Now, a cultural shift like that can't just happen on its own. It has to be supported by a structural one. So the old way of doing things with a UI team, a services team, a database team, that's a recipe for bottlenecks and finger-pointing. The model we're aiming for is vertical teams. These teams are organized around a business capability like email or voice, and they own the feature from start to finish.
And the benefits of doing this? They are huge, and they happen fast. When a team has that end-to-end ownership, accountability becomes crystal clear. You get rid of most of the handoffs, which makes your delivery cycles way faster. And because that one team owns the whole thing, they have a much deeper connection to the customer and the quality of what they're building.
This quote right here is Conway's Law. And if you take one thing away from this section, make it this. Your org chart isn't just a management tool, it literally dictates the shape of your software. If you have siloed teams that don't talk to each other, you're going to build siloed software that's a mess to maintain. If you want flexible, modern architecture, you have to start with how your teams are structured.
So we've covered the why and the what. Now for the part everyone wants to know, the how. How on earth do you actually start a journey like this without getting totally overwhelmed?
The secret is to not treat this like a big bang project. It's a gradual process, a journey. You start with the absolute basics, the foundation, things like solid version control and a simple CI/CD pipeline. Then you build on top of that, adding more automation for your testing and your infrastructure. From there, you can start to optimize, and finally scale that culture across the whole company.
But let's be real for a second. There is one massive obstacle that every single company faces when they try to do something like this. It's the tyranny of the urgent. The day-to-day work, the customer fires, the production emergencies, they will always feel more important than some long-term transformation project.
So how do you fight that? How do you break that inertia? Well, all the research and experience points to one clear answer. You don't try to do it with everyone's spared 10% of time. It'll never work. You have to create a separate, dedicated team whose only job, their only purpose, is to drive this transformation forward.
And this core team needs to be a specific blend of skills. Of course, you need a full-time technical lead. But you also absolutely need people from the dev and ops teams who live in that world every day. And this is crucial. You need a change specialist who understands the people side of things and a business rep who keeps everyone focused on delivering that all-important value.
Now, I have to give you a bit of a warning here. This is probably going to hurt at first. It's kind of like starting a new workout program. Those first few weeks are tough. You're sore. You're changing habits you've had for years. Things might even feel like they're getting slower before they get faster. You just have to be ready for that and push through it.
And to help you avoid some of that pain, here are the biggest traps, the most common mistakes people make. Don't start this journey by just buying a fancy new tool. Don't try to change everything all at once. And whatever you do, please don't just rename your old operations team to the DevOps team and create a new silo. Remember, this is about cultural change first. So, we've laid out the path. We've talked about the why, the what, and the how. You have a roadmap for the journey, and you have a warning list of the pitfalls to avoid. The only real question left is the one that truly matters. Is your organization actually ready to change? Not just to talk about it, but to really commit to the journey.